At 5:30 in the morning, while many people were still sound asleep, the lights at the Jingsi Hall were already lit as Tzu Chi volunteers gathered to participate in Master Cheng Yen's daily teaching. At the break of dawn, Master's wisdom circulated the great hall as every volunteer welcomed a new busy day with an enlightened state of mind. Although participating in the daily teaching meant waking up earlier, many volunteers still persisted in order to study diligently together. Master Cheng Yen reminds volunteers to nurture sincerity, trustworthiness, integrity, and honesty, and to also demonstrate kindness, compassion, joy, and unselfish giving through their actions. Besides self-cultivation, volunteers seized the opportunity to help those in need. Now, let us take a look at the events that have occurred in 2014. Winter weather in Canada is freezing and chilling. In addition to climate change, this year was especially cold. Downtown Toronto has many homeless people that roam the streets without proper care. They're in desperate need of warm clothing, food, and shelter in order to fight the long winter. Every year, Tzu Chi volunteers will provide essential needs to the homeless people in hopes to relieve them from the cold.
And the survival kits are very helpful because most of the clients that we work with are homeless or underhoused. They don't have a lot of our extra resources because they live in poverty, and so having the supplies distributed as well as a free meal is very helpful for people.
Well, as soon as I saw the banner for Tzu Chi, it was no surprise it was a great success, because the dedication of all of the people involved in this particular organization, and I know a little bit about the history of it and how it's organized, it's just phenomenal. And for your people to come in here as an organization and to dedicate time and energy and materials and food to satisfying the needs of people who are otherwise marginalized is just wonderful. It was a great day.
However, a warm meal or a bag of essentials does not solve the homeless population's problem in the long run. After surveying the situations downtown, volunteers realized many homeless people were not as independent. Furthermore, the harsh winter weathers also made it increasingly difficult for the homeless population to commute around the city. Beginning in early January, volunteers mobilized the winter distribution plan for the first time. They approached homeless people on the streets with new blankets, winter coats, and gloves. Driving the streets of downtown Toronto may be tricky and congested at times. However, volunteers overcame many obstacles in order to directly approach the homeless population. After several weeks of mobilizing the distribution, many volunteers affirmed their decision to approaching the homeless as they truly learned about what these people really need. Moreover, it proves to show that in a country that is safe and peaceful, there are still many places and people that need our help. Long-term care has been provided for over 9 years at Bridgepoint Health. Tzu Chi volunteers have continuously been building and maintaining the relationship amongst patients through various functions and initiatives. Volunteers noticed the wheelchairs in the hospital were reaching its expiration date and in desperate need of replacement. It also restricted patients' mobility within the hospital, including attending social activities. Due to budget complications, the hospital hasn't been able to purchase new wheelchairs. On January 20th, 2015, a hot vegetarian food charity sale was held at Bridgepoint in order to fundraise for the wheelchair department. From 6 a.m. in the morning, many volunteers started working in the kitchen and prepared 215 vegetarian lunch boxes by noon. Volunteers used their own methods to help Bridgepoint as well raise the awareness of practicing a vegetarian diet.
I can't tell you how wonderful that is, at least how I feel that that's so wonderful that we'll be able to help more people, get them out of bed, get them moving. Like, I don't know what else to say. Just thank you so very, very much.
During the charity sale, 大爱 technology merchandise, as well as organic handmade soap were sold to promote environmental awareness. Many hospital employees participated in the charity sale event and also generously made donations, making the event a huge success. The purpose of education is not about quantity, but quality. Young scholars must be patiently nurtured in order to become the future hope of society. Since 1997, Tzu-Ching Toronto has been growing for 18 years. Master Cheng Yen reminds Tzu-Ching alumni the importance of passing on the spiritual teachings and the Foundation's mission. The reason behind the rise in chaos in society today may be due to the lack of positive influences in the educational community, along with the desire for materialistic well-being and money. In recent years, alumni members have held staff retreats to provide guidance to Tzu-Ching and share their own past experiences. These events are an opportunity to share the teachings of Master Cheng Yen so that her young disciples can put those teachings in action within their educational communities.
因为这次的营队就看到很多的伙伴，他们经过2天课程的洗礼，虽然很简短，可是就是他们与上人的那个心更近，对于慈济的精神理念就更为了解。
The support, guidance, and encouragement provided Tzu-Ching with the confidence and perseverance needed when hosting the annual summer retreat. Many young campers across the Greater Toronto area participated in the 4 days, 3 nights retreat where they became acquainted with the Tzu-Chi family, met new friends, and discovered themselves through interactive activities and sharing. There will be laughter and tears in the organization, but we will never be alone because we have one another. Canada has been recognized as a multicultural country. Not only does the federal government support multiculturalism, but will also provide many opportunities for cultural organizations to participate in government-organized events. Toronto Tzu-Chi was invited to co-host a citizenship ceremony. Not only did volunteers prepare a beautiful sign language performance, but also gave newly sworn-in Canadian citizens a 4-language 静思 aphorism book. Due to the fact that the event was a huge success, Tzu-Chi was once again invited to co-host another citizenship ceremony in October, taking the opportunity to spread Master Cheng Yen's wisdom.
Celebrating citizenship in these walls, I think we're pointing towards one of the great strengths of our country, which is the willingness of people to volunteer, to give the best of themselves for no salary, for no return other than the recognition that they've done the right thing.
The Toronto Vegetarian Association hosts an annual vegetarian fair at the Harbourfront Centre every year. This was a perfect opportunity for Tzu-Chi volunteers to bring Chinese-style vegetarianism to the general public.
同国家的人的时候，像这边的黑人啊、印度都很喜欢我们的香鸡饭，那所以很高兴他们能够认识慈济，有这个机会让我们介绍慈济给当地的人。
In fact, many visitors that stopped by the booth were surprised that Chinese vegetarian cuisine can be so tasty, as the typical Chinese dish is usually more oily and heavy in flavor. At the vegetarian fair, volunteers also promoted English Tzu Chi publications, sold Tzu Chi manufactured instant noodles and rice. Since many people that visited the fair were vegetarians themselves, the commonality served as a bridge to help volunteers promote Tzu Chi spirit.
I'd like to say that I thank you from the bottom of my heart and all the people that you've helped and given a life that maybe would not have had one.
Over the course of 2 days, all the English Jingsi aphorism books were sold, as more and more people were attracted to this Buddhist organization. Master Cheng Yen says, building a Jingsi hall is to capture the spirit of Buddhism. Through the physical structure, as well as the displays within, the hall speaks without words. Anyone that visits will be able to see, feel, and touch it to realize Buddha's wisdom and Tzu Chi's morals. Thus, the Jingsi Hall is silently spreading the beauty of Buddhism and Tzu Chi. The name of the Jingsi Hall is to remind everyone to think carefully before putting their thoughts into action in order to prevent mistakes from happening. In other words, Tzu Chi volunteers never act on impulse, rather give all they can from the bottom of their hearts. When you gather all these volunteers' love and compassion, a silent hall is built, showing true wisdom as the spirit of great love cycles on. From the initial fundraising back in March 2014 until the purchase of the hall in May, Toronto Tzu Chi volunteers worked hand in hand in order to finally own a home after 20 years of making history. Prior to this special day, volunteers spent nearly 2 months tidying up the hall, moving in and setting everything up in hopes to present the best exhibit to every guest. On the inauguration of the Jingsi Hall, many important guests, including former Deputy Mayor Norm Kelly and Zhanshan Temple's Master Da Yi, all came to celebrate with Tzu Chi volunteers. With every guest as a witness, the Jingsi Hall launched its official opening. Volunteers guided visitors around the new hall, explaining its current use and future expansion plans. Many long-term supporters of Tzu Chi were very happy to see the hall before their own eyes, and left with words of praise and regards. Residents in the neighborhood also came to check out the new hall.
I think it's wonderful. There's so many improvements, a really good job you've done on the building. It's lovely. So I wish you all the luck in the world because I think it's great. Love your posters and what it has to say in all the different languages. No, it's beautiful.
After learning that the empty structure now had a new owner, local residents were excited to support such a meaningful organization. At the 20th anniversary celebration, volunteers presented a staged sign language performance based on the true story of Venerable Jianzhen. One of the highlights was the Dharma boat that signified the past 20 years of Toronto Tzu Chi, as well as what lies ahead in the future. Looking back at the last 20 years, there have been many ups and downs. However, there have also been huge milestones.
那我们的会所将会是一个 志工的训练中心，也是让这里大家得到上人法最好的地方。但以这么好的地方，我们一定要来熏法香，让大家真正能够接受到上人的法我想这是上人对我们最大的一个回馈。
With a permanent space to function and grow, volunteers look forward to deepening and strengthening charity missions in the city to serve more and more people in need and brighten their lives. Furthermore, may the Toronto Tsuchi family continue to grow and blossom, building the wisdom and compassion that lies within the Jingsi Hall.
那上人特别叮咛就是希望在多伦多的所有弟子们能够和和互协，在现有的这样静思堂这么好的一个基础的底下呢，能够这个成为上人的眼，成为上人的手，成为上人的脚，在当地帮助需要帮助的人，回馈当地，这样子才不会辜负我们有这么多的一个大德们以及志工菩萨们在这个地方一起成就这么好的一个多伦多静思堂的一个因缘，这也将是我们未来一个非常重要的一个方向。